Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and today let's talk a bit about our guy Xiao over here, right, who should be out, right, once the 2.7 update slash maintenance, is over. So this is what, his second rerun, his third time, as coming out as a banner unit, right? And he's been back for a while. He's been back multiple times, and every time he comes back, he gets a little bit better, right? Is one of the interesting things about Xiao, and let's talk a bit about that, right? So Xiao, obviously a main damage dealer, right? A Nemo, etc., all that stuff, and it sends with crit rate, which is all good and well, right? So a lot of really great things about Xiao, right? Being a main damage dealer, his ease, that thing that rushes forwards and hits opponents in the path, right? People can use it to move around quicker as well if you really want. Just in the overworld wise, you could use it in midair, jump around, very cool, very fun. And then you also have your alt, which by this time everyone knows is the jumping thing, right? You start jumping super high and then you spam like plunge attacks, right? And depending on how high you jump, the more damage the plunge attacks do. It does a Nemo damage, right? AoE Nemo damage. So that's cool, right? So while he does have this, he does continuously lose HP. And yeah, that's like his bread and butter, I guess. You just, go out there, E the opponent, and then, once you have your Q up, spam your Q, jump around, make sure you don't die while you, do that, all that stuff. As for your passives, it decreases climbing stamina consumption by your own team by 20%, which is nice, I guess, right? You got Conquer of Evil, whatever, while under the effect of Bane of Evil, all damage dealt by Xiao increases by 5%, and damage increases by a further 5% for every 3 seconds. The ability persists, maximum damage roll 25%, so, once you ascend it, you get this talent, you just deal more damage, right? The longer it goes on. And then this other passive talents, when you use I don't even know what that is. Wind cycling increases damage of subsequent uses of the wind cycling by 15%, right? It just makes basically ones after you use get increased by 15% damage, right? Last for 7 seconds, maximum of 3 stacks, gain new stack for fresh effects duration, which is cool and nice. So Xiao, again, mostly an Anemo damage dealer, which is slightly rare. You don't see this too much because a lot of Anemo characters are mostly built to be supports, right? Most of them are supports because of the fact that well, first of all, they're built that way, and also their kits, but also it's just that Nemo characters get the benefit of having to run 4-piece Verdescent, right, which is one of the top artifacts in the game, because if you swirl whatever element that's afflicted on your opponent, it decreases that subsequent element's resistance by a lot, right? So that's a very powerful. Most of them, most Nemo characters in the game run that, right? Whether it's Sucrose, Venti, Kazuha, Jean, Sayu, right? I guess a Nemo Traveler if you do that. I'm pretty sure, like, does every single Nemo character in the game run that except for Xiao? I think every single, yeah, I'm pretty sure every single Nemo character in the entire game runs Verdescent, right? Just to debuff the opponent's whatever elemental damage bonus or elemental damage resistance that the opponent has, right? And Xiao is just the only one that's like a actual like a Nemo type damage dealer, and that's not the best for a few reasons, right? First of all, it sucks that there's only one, but also Nemo characters as damage dealers do have a few hurdles they do have to cross because of the fact they're so nice and generous that they debuff the elemental resistance for their teammates, right? They don't really debuff a Nemo resistance because you can't really apply a Nemo to an opponent, right? Same thing with Geo, right? The only 2 elements that we know of so far, right, minus Dendro, pretty sure Dendro would be debuffable, but the only 2 elements that you can't debuff are Anemo and Geo, right? So all the other, you know, and Anemo is just so important in so many teams, right? That you almost always want someone to, you know, a 4-piece Verdescent unit on your team just to debuff the opponents against resistances, because high resistance, you don't do that much damage. And again, there's just not that many ways for Anemo characters to debuff, or any characters to debuff the opponent's Anemo resistance, and Xiao does run into that problem, right? So being an Anemo damage dealer, a lot of opponents just have very, very high Anemo resistance, so you just don't do as much damage, unfortunately. And then there's another slight issue, which is his Q is slightly awkward because of the fact of how it works. You can maneuver around it, right? If you angle things well, but generally the thing, like the Plunge Tank is like a kind of thing, right? You like, he comes down through the middle, and then it's like a water droplet, right? Hits the ground and splashes and then expands around, right? Which pushes opponents outwards in a circular shape, which also kind of sucks, because generally in Genshin, right, especially if you are playing time limited battles like the Spiral Abyss, right, you want to clear the stage as fast as possible. One of the best ways to do that is to group the enemies, group them all together, right, which is almost all the other Anemo characters do, or at least a lot of the other Anemo characters do. Group them all together so your attacks hit them at once. And then Xiao kind of does the opposite. He just hits them and then just pushes them outward and makes them a bit more sparse again. You could instead just go around the edges, but then you might not get as much opponents hit, right? There's just that trade-off over there as well, right? That is slightly difficult to maneuver. It's very, very fun though. I love plunging around with it. Super, super fun. But that is also a bit of an issue. And then the other thing, or going back to the Anemo resistance thing, right? Again, there are units in the game that can help you debuff Anemo resistance. However, they're all pretty expensive. So when you're looking at some of the best Xiao teams, they are kind of expensive. And it's not just, it's expensive because it's summable 5-star characters. No, it's expensive because it's summable 5-star characters, and you have to go up the constellations, right? The only, like, one of the cheaper ones is actually Zhongli, right? Zhongli with his shield over here, right? The Dominus Lapid, whatever this thing, right? After you hold it, right? You get this shield, and then where is it? Where did they write it, man? Oh, there it is. The shield protects you, but also decrease the elemental resistance and physical resistance of opponents in a small AoE by 20%, right? So as a melee character, you're almost always going to be in that range, right? So you know with the opponents. So if you do have the Jade Shield on, you should be debuffing the opponent's Anemo resistance, because it's all elemental and physical, resistance, right? So that is probably one of the cheaper ways to actually get some Anemo resistance shred for Xiao, right? But if you look at some of the other options, and if you want to look at some bigger numbers, because this is only 20%, which is not bad, but this is not anything crazy. If you want to look at some other options, first of all, there's like Venti, right? And it's not just Venti, it's Constellations Venti. C2 Venti gives you a debuff of Anemo and physical resistance by 12%, and then an extra 12% when they're in the air with this E thing, right? So that could potentially get you a 24% debuff. And then C6 Venti, which is even more expensive, right, could get you to an extra 20% Anemo resistance debuff, right? And then like another option would be actually Jean. Jean isn't as bad because like people, if you lose your 50-50, you have a chance to get Jean, but it is also on Constellations, right? Which is her C4, within her Q, the opponent's Anemo resistance get debuffed by 40%, which is very, 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 very good, right? You generally do want to this is one of the better options, all right, because of the fact, both for multiple factors. Jean's just very, very good for Xiao, right? Because C4 Jean, again, debuffs the opponent's Anemo resistance. You could help generate, Anemo particles for Xiao's Q, right? Which is also a bit of an issue as well, right? Energy cost is relatively high, so you do have to get that back. And look, if you don't have your E up, if you don't have your Q up, I'm not saying Xiao can't do any damage. I mean, charge attack, whatever, is fine, right? But generally, if his E's not up, his Q's not up, you're on some other character, right? You're switching on to some other character. And obviously, again, Jean being a Nemo helps with that a bit. Also, Jean can also heal, right? So Jean's going to be very, very nice. But again, C4 to you know, help as much as you can over here, right, with the extra Nemo resistance shred. So yeah, that is a bit of an issue, right? But Xiao has been getting better every time they do rerun him, right? For example, this time that they reran him, he has a new best set of artifacts, right, that just came out recently. So this Vermillion here, after again the 2-piece does give you an 18% attack bonus, which is nice and cool, but the 4-piece is where, you know, it counts, because after you use your elemental burst, right, your character will gain this effect, increase their attack by 8% for 16 seconds. Every time your HP decreases, your attack will further increase by 10%, right, and then max 4 stacks every 0.8 seconds. If you leave, it's gone, etc., right? But that's perfect for Xiao. It's basically made for Xiao, right? Because after you use the elemental burst for Xiao, right, your HP starts dropping. Thus, you will be, you know, you'll get the max buffs over here, right? Which again, you know, if you max out the buffs, that's a pretty significant amount, right? That's what, 48% attack buff, which is pretty big, right? But yeah, that yeah, he does have a new best artifact now, right, since his last rerun. So he did get better, right? I just feel like Xiao, for the most part, he just needs to have, I guess, cheaper, right, team comps. His best team comps, right? If you like, his whale team comps are very, very nice, right? His whale team comps are very, very nice. It's just like, his free to play team comps are slightly lacking a bit, because again, Nemo resistance, a pretty big thing, right? And he just really get it, right? And he also might have some energy recharge issues as well, right, to get his Q up. So, and just quickly looking at his constellation is not very good if you compare it to like a lot of other, you know, 5-star symbol units. Like, it's probably on the weaker side, I'd say, right? I mean, his C1's okay, gets an extra charge on his E, which is nice. This one's not that useful, because like, it has to be when Xiao's not on the field, increase your energy recharge. Okay, genius, how's he gonna pick up the Nemo particles, right? So that's slightly awkward as well. This increases his E as usual, which is fine. His C5 increases Q, which is fine. And then his C4 gives you extra 100% defense bonus. Okay, I guess. I mean, like, most of the time you will be trying to or you would be trying to run Zhongli with him anyway, so it's like, is it really that big of a deal? All right, so, and then his C6 is definitely nice. Fun fact, most Sumble 5-star C6 are very, very nice. so yeah, it kind of sucks. His constellations are not the best. C5 is nice, C6 is good, C1's okay, and then all the other ones are kind of whatever, right? So yeah, C6, when you Q, hit at least 2 opponents with your plunge attack, it'll give you another charge of your E, which is cool. And then yeah, ignore CD as well. It's very, very nice. Trust me, it's fantastic. It's also very, very expensive, right? So anyways, all in all, I'd say Xiao's okay. Xiao's got better since the last time he came back, but I'd say most of his issues, right, aren't very much fixed at the moment. He could definitely be usable, but like, if you want to really optimize Xiao, this guy's very expensive, right? This guy very, very expensive to build a like top tier like Xiao team around him. And also the artifact farming, again, you want to go for Vermillion hereafter, and that's probably not the best artifact domain to be spending your resin on, so there's also that as well. And so yeah, I wouldn't really recommend pulling for Xiao unless you really, really like Xiao. If you're a huge Xiao fan, obviously go for it, right? Go for your favorite characters. Again, Xiao's nice, he's solid, right? He's got very, very good things going on. Also, he's super fun, right? He's just super, super fun. And yeah, but again, it's just very, very expensive, like a C4 Jean, C2 Venti, right, the Zhongli, and if you could afford it, you know, C4 Albedo increases plunging attack damage by 30% as well. Again, his great teams are great, but they're also very, very expensive, unfortunately. So Yeah, I mean, I guess one okay or cheap-ish part of building Xiao would be like his weapons. His weapons generally are not super expensive to go for, I guess, right? I mean, Primordial Jade Wing Spear is one of his better weapons, and it's just a standard banner 5-star weapon, right? Which, you know, it's Primordial Jade Wing Spear. This thing comes back a lot, right? But like even like the 4-star options, never mind, I take that back. 4-star options aren't like super, like, deathmatch is good, but like that's BP, right? And then you have something like what else, like maybe Lithic Spear is like an exclusive banner. Yeah, never mind, I take it back. His weapons aren't, he just doesn't really have any like great like craftable you know, or you know, free pole arms, I guess, right? So yeah, never mind, I take it back. Yeah, he's an expensive unit. He's in a very, very expensive unit, unfortunately, right? So if you're a whale, go for it, sure. But if you're a free-to-play player, again, unless you really, 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 really like Xiao, I probably wouldn't go for it. Again, I'd say both Ito and Yelan are probably they're just cheaper, right? Units to build. It's just easier to get a Yelan to, you know, be very, very effective, or, you know, much cheaper to get like an Ito very, very effective on your team and such. So anyways, that's really this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, guys, think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel for some more Genshin Impact content, all that stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one then.